the rules are still the same. Different platforms, same rules. So you can't go and say, hey, Chris just told me X, Y, Z. Totally not permissible. And so, yeah, that's essentially, there's a need to understand legal ramifications of how every member in every industry uses social media. And I think we're going to continue to see a lot more litigation because people are not taking the time to understand it. And it's definitely going to be a lot of business and lawyers looking to do social media law or social media litigation. There's going to be a lot of stuff to do down the line to sue or defend people down the line.
Of course. I really appreciate you getting into that because I think that's an area that's often in the gray and people overlook, and that's such a important component of understanding how social media works.
Definitely.
All right, so I appreciate you covering the legal aspect and the different platforms used. Now, to be successful with social media marketing, how important is it to implement and understand SEO and SEM marketing and its various tools?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's important to sort of explain some of those concepts, search engine optimization and search engine marketing. In very simple terms, it's your ability to, well, let me back up. Let's say assume everybody has a website online. Well, there's just a lot of noise going on, both online and offline in society at large. Question becomes, how do you stand out? How do people know that you stand out? And beyond creating a consistency in your image, whether offline or online, because you're branding you, as I say, it's important to have your own voice. Independent of that, you've got to understand that it's not as easy as just having a blog. Beyond the absolute importance of having strong content, because content is king, you also have to understand how to market that content, and that's when we start getting into what we call search engine marketing and search engine optimization. There are companies that specialize in this kinds of things. So if you created a content, for example, I have a recent content on my fashion and entertainment law blog that talks about, Black Eyed Peas getting sued and ultimately by DJ, and then they won $1 million. The DJ won $1 million against them for issues of not clearing the music, right? So a copyright infringement issue. Well, if you go and you type up lawsuit and you type up Black Eyed Peas, my article should be able to come up on first page or second page. You're able to achieve that through search engine marketing and search engine optimization. You want to submit your URL or domain or whatever the case might be to search engines that specialize in making sure that they're getting new content once you post new content on your site and spreading that to as many people as possible. Sometimes too, you might want to consider being involved in what we call content aggregator. And in terms of content aggregator, you have individuals that, for example, would see and say, wow, this is fantastic. I can be the sole source of aggregating all content relating to fashion law in one place. And when I aggregate that content, anyone that's looking for fashion law topics will always come to my site. Well, those folks cannot aggregate your content without your permission, assuming you're a blogger, or even if you're not a blogger, you just create content online. And so news, whatever the case might be. So those people looking to get your content need your permission. And in order for them to have your permission, they have to come to you, ask for that, and et cetera. And that's where you can consider being a part of that. So if you have Yahoo or Google News or Reuters or whatever the case might be, Reuters, sorry, or whatever the case might be, you can ask them specifically to, when they come to you, you can then give them permission to take some of your content. Not all content, a little bit like a feed, a summary short feed of your information. So it's a whole, I'm trying to simplify it so it's easy for people to understand what I'm talking about.
Sure.
But it's a whole different world. You can use Twitter search to find out what people are talking about and incorporate some of what they're talking about into the topics you blog about. So for example, if people are talking about Clickable.com and social media as it is, then I want to go to twitter.com/search, type in and see what they're saying about that conversation. And if I wrote a blog post, for example, about social media, I would want to make sure that I include Clickable in my headlines because everybody's talking about it. And if I do that, probability is when I sync it to Twitter, and everyone's searching for that, my article is going to come up, and everybody's going to see what I have to say. Like, it's, you know, a lot of eyeballs will see what I have to say and come back to my site. So there's a lot going on with that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. You know,
does that make sense?
That makes total sense. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's fun. I don't think a lot of people realize this, all the components that go into it, rather than just having a Facebook account or a Twitter account. There's so much more that goes into the depth of it. And you obviously have a very strong grasp on social media. Now, overall, looking back at everything you've done and everything you've said, how much of an impact do you feel social media really has on the way you do business?
Well, for me, a lot, a huge impact in so many ways. First of all, recognition for what I do in the African context. It's very significant that people never, like I said, viewed Africa in a different, contemporary, sexy light. And I think that social media for me has been able to give Africa a voice in my small corner of the earth, and particularly here in the West, where, wow, Africa can be sexy and contemporary, among other things. I've also, on the legal end, who knew what fashion law was about? Now I get emails 24/7 from Europe, particularly on fashion law. Like, everybody's so interested. Oh my God, I never knew fashion law existed. Students, lawyers overseas, lawyers within the U.S. looking to practice fashion law but never even knew that was an option. I'm an interested audience that just wants to know about the law. So I think it's really good. I also think, like I said, when you have when you're online, it's just important to also brand yourself and your personality. What, for me particularly, what you see online is what you see offline. The personality stays consistent. So social media has been good to me. I'm a big believer also in, again, not just having a blog or Facebook site or whatever. Understand your purpose while you're online. Be very straightforward in what you're trying to achieve and achieve it. And show a little bit of respect for your audience by the way you present yourself. So consistency of color, for example. Color psychology matters a lot. If you go to the law firm site, fashionentlaw.com, we use red and white or burgundy and white for a reason. Burgundy because it's exciting, it's strong, it's passionate. I'm very passionate about the law, and the law as a whole. When people experience the legal system, it's life-altering, life-changing. There's nothing necessarily funny about it, although I try to keep it light and chill about the whole thing, but it's very, very strong, passionate reactions. It breaks families, it joins families. There's so much involved. Breaks business partners, brings business partners together. It can be a very shameful situation when people are sued, etc. So you want that passion, because people are already experiencing passion when they're looking for lawyers for the most part, or coming across or interacting with the legal system. On the other hand, when you go to Lady Bro magazine site, you don't get all that redness per se, or that burgundy color, for a reason, because typically we associate Africa with, again, HIV, AIDS, and poverty, and battles, and struggles, and all that stuff. Well, thinking about color psychology, I'm not trying to put that color on my site, because I want you to come to Africa on Lady Bro magazine, ladybro.com, to see that it's cool, sexy, calm, collected. So my glues come into play, my warm, earthy tones, orange, and everything else. So there's just a whole sort of different language that goes with this whole thing. There's also site functionality. Like, you can't come on a site and not know what the heck the site is about. So if you have an online destination, whether you're in business, whether you're a blogger, whether you're just, just talking for the heck of it, whatever it is you're doing, you should have a clear, visible, clear site that people can come in and come out, no clutter, and among other things. So for me, social media is a critical thing in this day and age. It doesn't stop with the 3 different platforms we've talked about. Certainly there are other platforms. And again, don't just get on because everybody's doing it. Get on for a specific purpose. Use it to increase your business and your bottom line, and also use it to do a lot of good, ultimately. And if you do bad, no problem. The lawyers will see you, and the law will come after you.
That's right. You've made so many strong points, and you covered a lot of important areas. I thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Have a great night. Now, this is Chris Chell here with Uduak Oduok, attorney in the fashion and entertainment industry. Have a great night now. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye, Chris.
Bye.